This is the Venture Razor Duo Bivy. First and probably the most important feature we'll talk about is the material. Now the material is 10,000 hydrostatic Airtex breathable material. Now inside, which we will show you at a later point, there is actually a clip-in inner capsule which will alleviate all condensation, and it is actually a myth that if you have a winter skin on that will keep you warmer. All a winter skin does is it's a second skin that alleviates condensation. So what we've done at Venture is we've actually built one in that you can actually leave on the bivvy when you're packing it away, so it alleviates all condensation. I actually used this bivvy last week in France, and I had two of the most horrendous thunderstorms come in. Thunder, lightning, torrential rain, and it performed absolutely fantastically. There wasn't a drop inside the bivvy, nothing, no leaks, the tape seams are all fine. So yeah, I can only give you an example of when it's been in use. So we'll try and work from back to front. At the rear, which again we will pan in on, there's a complete open window, and inside that in the capsule there's a Mozzie window. So again, when it's red hot, whether you're in France or the UK, you've got perfect air ventilation. Combined with that, you've obviously, you can see here, and it's in its one-man form at the minute, the raw form. So you've got a full Mozzie front, all the windows can be done up. You can have complete ventilation, lots of light gets in there, lots of air, open the back window, and it's a complete flow through of the circulation. Moving down, again, we've got these dual pegging points at the front, so slightly uneven ground. You're not going to be there's not going to be a gap basically from when you've pegged it down. So you've got two pegging points at the front. The poles, they're all high grade aluminium poles. And then actually inside, there's always been the time old problem with bivvies, certainly Pramwood bivvies, where the elastics will snap. Wear when you're taking them apart and you're folding them up, you will get wear. These are fully, they're proper high grade. You ain't going to break them, which again has been a time old problem in the back. Little rod straps there. There's 6 of them. There's some on the peak. There's obviously some on the main bivvy, and then there's some on the back as well. So you can secure all your rods when you're faffing around putting a new rig on. Your rod is totally secure. So right here staring at is obviously the main front of the bivvy. What we've done is, just because it looks really sexy and really carpy, which is all the in vogue at the minute, is we've rolled all the doors up. So we've pulled the 2 doors back at the side and we've rolled the door up the front. When you pull it down, it's obviously got a 2-way zip, so you can have it sort of letterbox style at the top. So if the rain's driving in, hence the reason for the peak, it can't get in, so you can still see out the lake, so you're not sort of stuck in a dark bivvy if you like. It comes complete with a clear window in with the price. Everything as you see is the complete package. That will be the one-man format. So we've taken you through the features outside. I'm just going to fling the front off and then take you inside. So it's just a couple of pegs. And then the front, as you can see, comes completely away. Get all the dirt off the ground sheet because that's the OCD kicking in. Right, first and foremost, you've got a real heavy duty ground sheet. Thick PVC, very hard wearing. You aren't going to get any sort of buckles or stones coming through it. Another feature is the built-in bivvy mat. This is neoprene, and again, in France last week, it proved absolutely invaluable because I spent most of the week sitting like that on my backside, and it was so comfy that I didn't really use my chair that much, but that is a really good sort of feature to point out. So moving back, the front, you can see it's got, on the ground sheet, it's got no pegging points, and what we've done is there's Velcro strips here and all on the corners, and obviously on the flap of the front that just sits on top of it, so you're not having to peg 62 different pegging points at the front. You just put the ground sheet on top of the flaps. In addition to the Velcro strips, which only fit on the flaps of the front, the ground sheet is actually attached by 8 of these heavy duty clips. So as you can see, very easy to use. And the ground sheet actually goes in last. What you do is you peg the bivvy and then you clip the ground sheet in. And as you can see, there's a couple of inches all around the circumference of the ground sheet. So that obviously if you're on uneven ground, you're not going to have no gaps that water or insects or anything like that might want to get in. So there's 8 of those all around the ground sheet, as you can see. And then as I'm peeling the ground sheet back, you can see the 2 tension straps, which give the bivvy its rigidity and its shape. So they're very easy, just a circlip, you clip them into place, and then that actually gives it the dome shape. While we're down in this corner, you can clearly see the vapor skin. Now this for me is invaluable, certainly to eliminate the condensation, but there's 2 easy 2.5–3 foot pockets. There's one either side, so for your keys, your tackle box, little bits and bobs that you might lose, that we all do. There's a couple of them, very, very handy. I found them last week, to be honest. So they, again, are another plus point. So we'll just push that back. The actual vapor skin, you can either leave this on, you can actually pack it away and leave it on at all times. Or if you want to strip the weight back, you can take it out and just completely leave it in the garage or leave it in your car. But it's very, very easy to fit. So it's just a case of there's a toggle all the way around it, and it just toggles into place in little circlips like that. And then on the top, there's little bits of elastic, you pop them through. Very, very easy, very self-explanatory. And that is what gives you all the condensation-free bivvy. You can see there, it really shows how easy it is to actually fit the vapor skin. All these stainless heavy-duty rings, there's quite a bit of stretch. These are all on little bits of elastic. So there's quite a bit of give in that, so it's not going to be so tight that it's going to rip or damage. But again, you can see in here the heavy duty, the double tape seams, no leakage, and it's just perfect. It's so versatile, so easy to use. And if you do want to strip it back, I mean, you could save kilos, get rid of the ground sheet, get rid of the vapor skin, get rid of the front, get rid of the peak, and you've really stripped it back to its raw form. We put this wide load bed chair in here just to show it in situ, to show actually how much space you've got when you use the Duo as a one-man format. Now, there's a good couple of foot behind the bed chair. I tend to put my tackle bag there, and I keep as much space at the front free as I can, just to keep the clutter to a minimum. But the reason you can get the bed chair so far back, the bivvy actually is configured, it's a flat back, so you haven't got any wasted space around you. So hence you can see you've got a lot of flat space up the sides as well. The way the pole configuration goes together, the back's flat and it gives a long straight sort of section down the middle of the bivvy. So you can get even the biggest of bed chairs right back to maximise on the space that you want to have at the front. You know, I appreciate that some people take a lot of kit, so they've got the cooking area, then, you know, you've got your tackle area, but we're just trying to show you how much space you've got in the raw one-man form. There may have been a bit of a clue in the name Razor Duo as to what we've got up a sleeve, and here it is. Now what we've done is, you can see now it's a much larger bivvy than before, and all we've done is we've put on the extension, which takes it into a proper two-man bivvy, and all that's enabled us to do. What we've done is we've taken the peak off. The peak was obviously here before, and we just zip the peak off. The extension zips on exactly the same way as the peak does, and then obviously this is then what you're left with. The extension is probably a 3-foot extension. It's made from the same 10,000 hydrostatic Airtex material as the actual bivvy. It comes with the frame support to obviously give it all its strength and its rigidity. The elastics are exactly the same, the poles are the same. Every single thing in the design of this is exactly the same as the bivvy. So what it's done is it's turned it into a proper I would even say 2.5-man bivvy. So you haven't had to buy an extra bivvy. All you've had to do is get the extension piece that turns it into a 2-man bivvy. So there's no need to buy a 1-man bivvy for England and a 2-man bivvy for France. You've now got the complete package that does absolutely everything for you. So we'll go around the front and we'll look at the inside space and the extras that are with the ground sheet and inside the actual bivvy. So as you can see, this is the view from the front, and it's a proper unit, this bivvy. It's absolutely rock solid, as you can see. All pegged down really, really well. Same pegging points, same pegs, everything is exactly the same as the 1-man format. The clear window will fit the Mozzie window that is obviously included with the 1-man bivvy. So you can have that open like that with the Mozzie up, completely down if it's raining, clear window on if it's raining. Loads and loads of options there for you. You can also, which is what we're going to do now, is we're going to open the door, roll the front completely open so it can completely be an open fronted shelter, and then you can see right inside. So this is the crib all exposed. It's an absolutely monstrous bit of kit with the extension on. As you can see, you've got 2 wide load bed chairs in there. They are 1 metre in width, both of them, yet you've still got an easy 12 to 15 inches down the middle to manoeuvre about inside. You've got area at the back to put your bivvy table. You can put your tackle underneath, you can put your tackle in the porch. And, you know, even with the porch, the extension piece, you get this ground sheet in with it. So that velcros to the original ground sheet. So again, it's all one enclosed unit, so no water can digress and get through in any point. It's also worth mentioning about pricing, because you probably, you know, we've talked you through everything. We've shown you the different elements. You know, you can use the 1-man with the front on and still use the porch as a cooking area. You know, do whatever you want to do with it. You know, but there's so many options here. You can do loads and loads of different things with it. But we're going to move on to pricing. And after all the technical jargon, you're probably going to think this is going to cost you an arm and a leg. But what you've got to think of is if you're going to buy a one-man bivvy with a wrap or a two-man bivvy with a wrap, you're going to be talking a hell of a lot of money, whichever manufacturer you choose. So you're going to be looking at price-wise, $399 and expect to pay about $350 for the one-man format, and that's with everything, with the frame support, the clear window, the pegs, everything. The two-man extension is going to be £120 retail and probably expect to pay about £100. So for this complete package, you're going to be looking at £450 all in. No hidden extras, don't have to buy any more pegs, don't have to buy any more ground sheets, nothing. The whole shooting match for £450. Now, if that isn't a bargain, I kind of don't know what it is. But that is pretty much it. The Razor Duo, use it however you want to use it, but there's loads of different options and I'm sure you will not be disappointed.